Hello, Sagittarius. It's your turn for your reading. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to do a little bit different. This is for the month of April. So I was going to read for the first week, the second week, the third week, and the fourth week of April. But I was going to give you a message with runes that I collected. Choose for you guys, just out of the bag. So I'll read the first one, which is an arrow. And I may get the misspelling of how to say these exactly, but I think it's really cool, their meanings and stuff. So the first one is Tyron's Warrior Energy, the God's Way. This is the rune of spiritual warrior. His fight is always um, the limiting ego. His strength is strengthened by the act, but the warrior outcome, and he always knows that he cannot do anything but hinder himself, but the will of heaven will prevail. These are his marks. This rune also contains the energy of the distinction. Practice is the virtue of this rune. You are asked to look inwardly and to drive down to the foundation of your life. If you dedicate your question to a certain case, an idea, a certain way, the warrior rune recommends perseverance, even if it sometimes endurance is required in the form of patience. What are your priorities? How do you use your energy? The rune Tawaz stands for courage and devotion. And then the second one, which is a line, that means it is a stagnation, that which hinders eyes. The winter of the spiritual life has come upon you. You may find yourself trapped in a situation where or whose importance you cannot recognize effectively. You are powerless to do anything other than to bend or even pass on long held desire. Try to find out what it is, what you hold, the effect of the situation, let it go. Enter by and be silent, because what you see is not necessarily a consequence of your actions and habits, but the circumstances of the time against which you cannot do anything. To yield shows courage and wisdom. And then the last one is the rune Manzan's the self. Remain modest, but this is the right of the oracle. Be in the world, but not from the world. Stay receptive to impulses that come out of the driven in the inner and outer sphere. Seek to live the unusual life in an unusual manner. If you take the itself rune and cut in the middle, you are going to receive the rune of joy and its reflection. So there is a fine warning not to be careless. The acrobatically dancing energy of the balance is asked here to bring its higher itself, nothing in the excess, but that was the second request that was to be read at the entrance to the deeplish, I think I said that right, temple. Anyways, I'm feeling for you, Sagittarius. This is going to be a challenging month, but I feel like, with a lot of perseverance that you'll push through. So let's read the first week of April. You got the Five of Pentacles, the Hermit, the Knight of Wands in reverse. So I'm feeling for the first week, Sagittarius, you may be feeling a need to move forward possibly when it comes to things that you lack. Because I feel like with the Hermit card, it suggests that you need to go within. And with the Knight of Wands, that could be an in and out energy. It could be you trying to find a way out of a situation and courage to take on this type of energy to move forward in your life, I feel like. And then the second week of April, you have the Page of Swords. And then the Six of Swords in reverse and the High Priestess. So I feel like a message could be sent your way, or you're trying to communicate with someone the second week of April. But it looks like with the Six of Wands, there's something that you're in transitioning, or you're maybe in resistance to let go. And it could be a message coming in that may get you struck, unnerved, or you feel like you need to let go in some way. Like a message comes in out of the blue and you weren't ready for it, but it's time to let go of something, but I feel like you're hesitant with. And then with the two, or the high priestess, I feel like you need to go on your intuition. So whatever this message or whatever this information coming to you, it could be from an air sign, or a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and such like that. But also, too, this is a Pisces card, the High Priestess. So it could be a Pisces that you're dealing with. And I feel like whatever message comes to you in the second week, use your intuition and try not to do anything that you don't feel comfortable. It could be that something in an uncomfortable position, but something you need to let go. So really go within and really figure it out what it is that you want to take lead in. And then the third week of April, you have the Wheel of Fortune, and then you have the Fool in reverse, and then you have the Ten of Cups in reverse. So I feel like when it comes to changes in your life, things are changing. That could be fate, that could be destiny. But I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune, it could be something changing for the best. You could be going towards something new and a new beginning possibly. But it looks like with it being in reverse, do be careful when it comes to new beginnings or starting new things, because it looks like it has to do with your happiness. And I feel like ultimately you need to go towards something that is ultimately going to bring you happiness. This also is a card about like family, wedding, everything that brings us joy in life possibly. But I feel like if it's a new beginning with a person or situation changing, I feel like you need to be very clear and try not to rush the process, but try to really focus on, what is long-term goals that I should be setting that is going to be in my favor. That's what I'm feeling. And then the last week of April, you have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. You have the Four of Cups, and then you have the Devil in reverse. So I feel like this is ultimately, kind of like the single card, but also too, it's about nourishing yourself. It's also about planting the seeds in your life and a lot of growth. So it could be possible that a lot of growth is coming to you in the last week of April, but I feel like in some way with it being in the reverse, that it's indicating in some way a growth that needs to take place, or something needs to change when it comes to you, when it comes to another person, maybe your finances. So I feel like a lot of change with that. But with the Four of Cups, it could be a disappointment, or maybe you're not seeing things clearly when it comes to, your money and finances, and I feel like it's going to bring you disappointment. So try to balance things out for the last week of April. And then with the last card, the Devil in reverse, I feel like you're getting, you're trying to get on top of anything that's holding you bound, and it could be about your freedom, I'm feeling. Usually the Devil card, it's about bondage. It's about, things that don't serve us well. It could be toxicity. It could be, anything from that. When you think of the Devil, what are you holding on to? What are you clinging on to? What is bondage to you in some way? But with it being in reverse, I feel like you need to free yourself from maybe you're resisting change when it comes to being single. Maybe you need to be single. Maybe it's growth that you need to get control over. Maybe it's a situation. But I just feel like, be careful what you do. Because I feel like with the Devil card showing up after, the Four of Cups, it's going to give you disappointment. So I feel like, do be very cautious when you're overindulging on things that are good for you, but it may be the devil card telling you, be very cautious of any addictions or anything that has not the best intentions for you and the growth. That's what I'm really feeling. Something about your growth. Need to rethink things. But also, too, with the disappointment, it may be hard to give up something in some way, but I feel like if you really balance things out when it comes to taking care of yourself, managing your finances, and managing things, it probably won't be as difficult when it comes to, the devil card in reverse. You need to be free from something that could give you growth, but maybe you're in a resistance of that. That's what I'm feeling for you, Sagittarius. Bye bye.